video, we're going to talk about Aidan Hutchinson and how he is going to probably go to New York. And does he have a chance to win the Heisman? So if you're new to our channel, welcome. Sports Talk Detroit. My name's Chris. This is Craig. We talk about the Lions, Pistons, Tigers, and now Michigan football because we're doing so well.
And we love Michigan football.
And we love Michigan football.
We even got Michigan basketball on the channel.
Oh, absolutely.
It's almost like we talk about everything.
Talk about everything. So,
except state.
Oh, yeah, jeez. Hutch for Heisman. Hutch for Heisman. You heard him at the Big Ten championship game. They're like all of his teammates were yelling that, and it's like, all right, this is a real thing. So, Craig, can he win the Heisman? What does it look like for a defensive end to win the Heisman? Is it possible? What do you think on it?
Yeah, well, in Michigan, as Michigan fans, we know what it looks like for a defensive player to win the Heisman.
Yep.
The big difference between Woodson and Hutchinson is Woodson did play on the offensive side of the ball every once in a while.
Yeah.
He did play special teams as a return specialist. Hutchinson's just on defense, and that's not typically a position that gets any love in the Heisman. Here's the thing. The media has been boosting this up. He will be in New York.
Yeah.
He will be there for the Heisman ceremony. But what I want to do in this video is talk about why I think he should win the Heisman. Right? Bryce Young, great job at Alabama, had a huge game against a ridiculously good Georgia defense. By the way, ridiculously good Georgia defense, also ridiculously not tested all year.
That's right.
So I do understand that, and he had a great game, so I think Young will win the Heisman, but here's why Hutchinson should. He has dominated on the defensive side of the ball, which is not easy to do. 14 sacks, school record in 13 games. If you look at just the championship game alone, or the last two games, he had 3 sacks against Ohio State, and then in the championship game he had 1 sack, but he had 7 QB pressures.
Yeah, yep.
Right? The Big Ten is doing everything they can to get this guy the Heisman. They gave him the Big Ten championship player of the game. Like, they're trying everything they can do to get him there. I could make the argument that he absolutely does. Look at our defense last year. I understand we have a new defensive coordinator, but when you basically always have to block someone with 2 guys, it completely changes the defense. You can't get to a 3rd and long. You can't, so teams aren't passing against us on 1st down.
No.
We know what's coming, right? And then you have another guy, by the way, top 5 in sacks all time in Michigan with Ojabo. Why? Because he's getting one-on-ones all the time because Hutchinson's drawn the double team. He completely changed that side of the ball for one of the best defenses in the country.
Yeah, and I love how you said that because when you watch Michigan, one of their 3rd and long package, they'll put Hutchinson over by himself. They put the other 3 down linemen over to the other side of the ball.
Yep.
And they're just like, okay, we're going to put everybody's one-on-one. You're going to double Hutchinson. You're not going to be able to double him even. It's just shame on me for not really paying attention. I knew Hutchinson obviously was really good, but these last 3 games, probably the last 3 games, I've really watched him every play almost. I just... when we're on defense, I watch him, and it's like, this guy's the real deal. And against Ohio State, there's a play that you may remember, maybe not, but it was 4th down, late in the game. They throw a little 5-yard hitch for a 1st down. It was 4th down for them. Hutchinson came in and just decleats this, 400-pound offensive tackle for Ohio State. And for me, right there was that moment where, like, this guy is different than anybody.
Yeah, he's built different.
Oh, man, this guy's awesome. So I didn't give you any stats there. It was more just like feel of like watching him every play for the last 3 games. It's the quarterbacks. If we feel it here in our living rooms. The quarterback's like, I don't have time. I'm just gonna throw it. I don't want to deal with this, and it just impacts the game so much.
Well, and you completely. I mean this. It like cuts the playbook in half for the other team because any play that you have a 5-step drop, get it out. You can't run it. Any play where it's just a shotgun snap where the quarterback is sitting back waiting to pass, you really can't run it. It's just, it has to be gone. You have to have a blocker in. You have to either send a tight end or a running back to chip him, and even then he gets home. But that's a receiver that's not out there, so it's a numbers game at that point. And Michigan has 7 guys guarding 3.
Yeah.
It's really, really simple, and I understand that this is an offensive award, and it probably should be an offensive award, but man, I would love to see him
I know.
in that.
Because
and it'll be fun to watch.
I love, too, how, and this is almost an off-topic, but our defense, we don't just rush 4. For a minute there, I thought in my head that, look what we do. We get pressure with 4, we drop everybody else, but we run like creative blitzes and stuff, and it just, again, plays to Hutchinson where the offense on the opposing team is like, man, I don't know what's coming. I don't know if they're dropping everybody. I don't know if they're coming. And then, like you said, it cuts the playbook in half because there's no multiple read stuff. They're like, all right, it's going to this guy. And that's just to our advantage to have all that. It's just huge.
I got two more things because this is huge. So one thing that people don't realize that Hutchinson is so good at, often when you run a zone run to the right side, let's say, if you don't block that defensive end on the other side.
That's right.
You just run the zone down and trust that your running back's fast enough to get there. Hutchinson routinely runs the running back down in the backfield, and they can't have cutback lanes, which are so deadly in a zone blocking scheme. So that is another area where he's so good against the run. He's not just a pass rushing specialist. He goes all out on every single play. But I'm going to go off the Hutchinson for Heisman thing. Just him having the year he had. Just him, hopefully, he better be going to New York for the Heisman ceremony. What does that do for recruiting?
Oh, huge.
Like if I'm a defensive end, if I'm in California, if I'm in Florida, if I'm in Texas, and I see what these two guys, Hutchinson and Ojabo, combining for 25 sacks, where do you want to go play football?
That's right.
Like, you want to go to Michigan under Mike McDonald because you know he's going to scheme up a way for you to get sacks, and sacks get you drafted early.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
And this is what beating Ohio State's done for Hutchinson, for you're more exposed, and like you said, the media has kind of just gone on to Hutchinson. Like, he's kind of the player to you know, and it's like, love it, and he's rightfully so. But they're really, I've noticed, like, boy, I was thinking, man, if I was an Iowa fan, I'd be getting pretty annoyed right now because it was just like every time. But it's so true. We've just been building him up, and this is what beating Ohio State does. Keeps us in the spotlight. Big Ten championship, Heisman, playoff. And this is why that game is so huge, and we won it, and it's like, all right, let's keep on rolling.
All of it goes to recruiting. And I know what you're thinking, like, hey, we're in the college football playoff now. Who cares about recruiting 4 years down the line? It's important. This won't get guys for this upcoming year. This is like 2023 recruits that this college football playoff gets us. But if it can get us to a point where we're recruiting at an even higher level, consistently in the top 5 instead of top 10 in the country, like,
that's a big difference.
It's a big deal.
Yep.
Big
deal. So we think he's going to go, and then we think he should win it. I'm with you. I think it's an offensive award, and it's more fun to show.
We're not biased at all either.
Yeah. So we love Hutchinson. We think he's just outstanding. If you watch every game, you really am like, yeah, this dude every week it's like huge play. Yep. So we'll see what happens. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you on the next one.
See you.